I'm not sure if a lot of people have noticed something over the past few months. There have been some changes in the way clients, customers, and businesses buy expertise. They're becoming less interested in how much work you do and much more interested in whether you can consistently produce the results they are after. Now, at first glance, that may not sound like a dramatic change. But I believe it's one of the most important market shifts affecting professional services and every other business whose value comes from expertise. Because once buyers begin changing how they evaluate expertise, everything else begins changing with it. Over the past few months, my team and I have been quietly evolving the entrepreneur's strategic briefing. Every month, my team prepares what we call our executive sense making board book. Now, this isn't a script, it's the report our editorial board uses after spending the month collecting, organizing, interpreting, and debating what we're seeing across the market. And what I'm sharing with you today isn't a reaction to this week's headlines. It's the conclusion we've reached after reviewing everything that's in this book. So you might recognize that markets don't usually announce when they've changed. They simply begin rewarding different behavior. Now, our objective isn't to predict the future, it's to improve how we as a business understand the direction that the market appears to be moving while there's still time to prepare for it. And that's a conversation I want to have with you today. During the past month, our editorial board reviewed signals from across professional services and other expertise driven businesses. At first, many of the signals looked unrelated. Some talked about pricing, others focused on AI. Some discussed hiring, while others pointed towards changing buyer expectations. Now, taking individually, they look like separate stories. But when we as a team step back, all of these things appeared to point toward the same underlying market movement. I don't think artificial intelligence is actually the story, nor is pricing. I think these are simply making a much larger market shift easier to recognize. The real change is that buyers are beginning to redefine what expertise is actually worth. For years, expertise was measured by what someone knew. Then it became measured by what someone could do. Now, I think we're entering another stage. Expertise is increasingly being evaluated by whether it can consistently produce the outcome that the buyer actually wants. That's a very different standard. If it's true, it also helps explain why so many different things seem to be changing at the same time. Buyers are now asking different questions. Pricing models are beginning to shift. Fixed fee and outcome based engagements keep appearing. Firms are redesigning how they deliver services, and client capabilities continue becoming stronger. Now, these aren't isolated trends, they're all connected. I think what's happening is actually pretty simple. Whenever something becomes easier to produce, its value by itself begins to decline. That doesn't mean it becomes worthless. It means buyers begin looking elsewhere to determine value. Knowledge has become easier to access. Information has become easier to generate. Even many forms of analysis can now be produced in seconds. So buyers begin asking a different question. It's not, can you produce information? It's becoming, can you consistently produce the outcome I'm trying to achieve? And that subtle change may reshape the economics of expertise over the next several years. We're already seeing it happening. And if our board's interpretation is correct, the organizations most likely to benefit won't necessarily be the ones using the newest technology. They'll be the ones that redesign their business around consistent capability. Now, as part of that sense making board book, we have something called an executive market snapshot. And I want to read some points from this because this is all relevant to what we've been seeing and how we've been interpreting it. So, this is specific to professional services, but also to all forms of intellectual development for businesses and for people. And looking at this snapshot, something we came upon was an executive thesis. A capability shock is propagating through professional services, resetting buyer definitions of value around outcomes rather than effort. I want you to think about that for a second. Outcomes is what everyone really wants to buy. What a lot of people are selling are features, benefits. This is what you get, not what do you get out of what we're doing. And there are six primary dimensions that we've been looking at that are all very important. Number one is buyer definition of value. Number two, provider delivery capability, pricing architecture, operating model, relationship stability, and something that is kind of an interesting point, adaptation success. Now, that's not client focused, that's actually business focused. How quickly and well are you able to adapt to the changes that are coming to your market? Now, if we look at this, buyer definition of value is trending upward. Okay. And the confidence on it is high and the momentum is strong. We're also seeing under the delivery capability that it's now lagging movement. And there's a lot of friction in there somewhere. And the confidence in that is also high. Now, with pricing architecture, it is changing up, but it's a moderate to strong movement. And the confidence on it is a little bit less than we'd like it to be. It's not high, it's kind of a medium high. Operating model. Now, this is where we're talking about humans plus AI working together. This is accelerating, not massively, but accelerating. And it is a strong movement with medium high as the confidence rating because a lot of people aren't quite sure what to do about it. They buy an AI product or they get AI and try to integrate it. It's not always working for them, right? They're getting kind of traction and kind of not. And that's where I'm seeing a lot of movement in consultants themselves is dealing with this AI integration. I myself am doing the same kind of thing. I'm operating from an AI readiness roadmap function for all the people that need that. Are they ready to actually integrate AI into their business? Sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no. But what we're really seeing is a dominant market force that's occurring because of a lot of interruptions. We're looking at dominant market mechanics. And you'll get all this information at the end. I have it in a single page that we're going to make available to you. And we've also been looking at executive trajectory. Now, all of this matters because much of what is happening is creating a seesaw function between clients and businesses. And when the clients are, you can call them customers, clients, when they get more leverage one way, you lose leverage. It doesn't go up and down. You lose that leverage that comes while they're gaining it. And that's what we found from adaptation success is that the movement is unresolved. It continues. The momentum, we're not sure about that one. And our confidence in whatever is happening is low. But we know there is movement there of some sorts. We're just not seeing it yet. Now, this briefing isn't intended to answer every question. It's intended to establish the conversation we'll be having throughout the month. Now, over the coming weeks, We'll explore how buyers are redefining value, why provider operating models are struggling to keep pace, and why pricing and delivery models are beginning to evolve together. If there's one idea I'd like to leave you with today, it's this: markets rarely announce when they've changed. And by the time everyone agrees that something has changed, the businesses that adapted early have already moved ahead. That's why I asked my team to spend their time looking for direction instead of headlines, because understanding direction gives all of us the opportunity to prepare before change becomes obvious. Now, I respect your time enough that I don't come in front of this camera until my team and I have done the work. That's the promise behind the new Entrepreneur Strategic Briefing. Thank you for joining me. I'm Randy Bridges. I'll see you back here in August. Be sure to look for briefing notes next week. Have a great week.